Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen and welcome if you are new. I'm excited that you are here. Today we are doing a fun recipe that I came across. It's actually a recipe from Taste of Home, but it is also titled the Meatloaf from A Christmas Story. So if you remember Ralphie and his brother, we love that Christmas movie. So I found this recipe, I thought it'd be fun to do today. We just got home from church. Time to get something ready for our lunch dinner. We eat one meal usually after church, and so we're gonna get this made. We're gonna get the hubby fed. We're gonna enjoy a relaxing evening because I have a crazy busy week. I'll tell you guys about that coming up, but let's get our meatloaf made. This is a 2.25 pound thing of ground beef. I don't need all of this. I need 1.5 pounds. So I'm gonna take out what I need and then I'm gonna put the rest of it in the refrigerator and I will use it later this week for something else. So there is, I'm gonna say about 1 pound right here. And I need, let's go about that right there. Should be, yep, that should be good. And we'll just save the rest of this for another recipe later this week. To our ground beef, we have got 2 beaten eggs right here. We're gonna add those in. I did not get onion. I forgot to buy onion at the grocery store. So we are gonna use our dehydrated onion. So we're just gonna put in about that much, should be plenty. We're gonna put in 1/2 teaspoon of sage, which is interesting because I've never had a meatloaf with sage in it before. Put in a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. And then we're gonna put in 2 sleeves of saltine crackers. So I'm just gonna crush these right into our bowl with our meat. This is a good recipe if you've got, if you've got some like stale crackers, by all means use those. I dropped a couple on the floor. I'm sure the dogs will find it. And I am gonna bake this. The recipe says to put it in a loaf pan. I don't bake my meatloaf in a loaf pan anymore. I haven't for years. I cook it right on a sheet pan. I just freeform it. I tend to think it cooks better when you do it that way versus putting it in a loaf pan. I think then it sits in the grease from the ground beef, and that just to me is not very appetizing. So I prefer to cook it on a sheet pan, just on some foil, and just freeform it. I am just making a huge mess with these crackers everywhere today. So what I was telling you is I do have a crazy busy week coming up. We have Christmas Eve service at our church and I am making over 400 cookies for our Christmas Eve service. So that's going to be a huge project for me this week. And I will bring you guys along with me as we make all of those cookies for our Christmas Eve service. Plus I have Christmas Eve with my family coming up. And so it's just gonna be a busy, busy week for me. Plus I'm still working. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take my jewelry off because I am a girl that I just get in with my hands with our meatloaf. I don't wanna use a spoon. I feel like I can get it. I don't overwork it when I use my hands because I can really feel what it feels like. So we're just gonna kind of toss this. I wanna break up this ground beef a little bit. Kind of get it mixed in a little bit with our crackers before I put our milk in. With meatloaf, you don't wanna be heavy-handed with it because if you mash it too much, you're overworking the ground beef and you end up with a really super tough ground beef or meatloaf, and nobody wants to eat a really tough meatloaf. So we want to be really careful, just very lightly using our fingertips to kind of mix this around. Now we're going to put in 3/4 cup of milk. That's our liquid that's gonna help moisten those crackers. That's gonna turn that into a binder. So just kind of take your fingers again and just kind of lightly toss this around. Trying not to overwork the meat, just keeping it nice and light, kind of fluffy. The last thing we need to do is we need to make our top that's gonna go on this, which is your brown sugar and your ketchup. But we're gonna put a little bit of that in this and then save the rest of it to put on the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands real quick. Safety first when you're dealing with ground beef or with any kind of raw meat. Wash my hands real quick and we're gonna make our brown sugar and ketchup mix. All right, so I have a bowl right here. Let's put this up here for a second. We're gonna mix up our ketchup and brown sugar. It is 1 cup of ketchup and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. This seems like a very classic meatloaf recipe to me. I always, when I make mine, I make it the way my grandmother made it, which was cream and mushroom soup, and the onion soup mix is how she always did hers. But I thought when I saw this one, and it was, you know, kind of related to the Christmas Story movie, I just thought this would be a fun twist on it. I haven't done one like this for years, so I thought this would be a fun one to do. So let's put in our 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I'm just gonna eyeball it. If you don't feel confident in doing it that way, then by all means measure it. Just gonna grab our whisk, break up our brown sugar. Now it says this has to bake for about an hour. So that's gonna give me time to make some mashed potatoes. Let me get all of this brown sugar broke up really well. Get all those lumps out of here. I did like how simple this recipe was though. In fact, we might just watch A Christmas Story tonight. We have a list of Christmas movies that we watch every year. Our favorites, and that is definitely one of them. Okay, let's go ahead and put a little bit of this in here, and then we're gonna mix it around. We're gonna save the rest of that for the top of it after it cooks for a little while. So again, just really easy with my hands, really, really light touch with it so that we're not overworking it. We don't wanna mash it, we're not squeezing it. We're just gently tossing this with our fingers, getting everything mixed. And just letting it sit there for that couple minutes with the crackers and the milk, I can feel it's really coming together. So we've got all of our stuff mixed in. We're gonna get this put on our sheet pan, and then we're gonna get it put in the oven. So I'm just gonna take the whole piece. Now another fun recipe that you could do with this, if you didn't wanna do it all in one big meatloaf, you could put this in muffin cups and make little individual meatloaves and then serve your mashed potatoes on top, which would be super fun. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do it on the sheet pan like I always do, freeform it. And I try not to get it too tall because that also makes it take a lot longer to bake. So I try to get it a little bit thinner. But that right there looks perfect to me, friends. It's gonna go in a 350 oven for about 60 minutes. All right, friends, our meatloaf is ready for the top to go on it, or our sauce, I should say. But friends, look at that. It smells incredible in my kitchen right now. We're gonna go ahead and put our sauce on top of it and put it back in the oven. We've got our potatoes on to boil. We're gonna have some mashed potatoes, probably some green beans, and this delicious meatloaf. So let's get it put on there. Get rid of our whisk. We're just gonna take all of this sauce and put it right on top of our meatloaf. And then we'll spread it out. So this meatloaf only needs about another probably 15 minutes before it's completely done. But the other part of this is you want to let your meatloaf rest, because if you pull this out of the oven and slice into it immediately, you're going to lose all of your flavor all over your board. You're not going to have any of that delicious juice. So we want to let this rest for about 10 or 15 minutes after it comes out of the oven. That'll give us time to get our mashed potatoes finished, our green beans heated up, and dinner's going to be on the table. All right, friends, our Christmas story meatloaf is done. Is that not beautiful? Look at that. We are so excited to eat this. Our mashed potatoes, I just finished those. We've got some green beans heating up on the stove. We're gonna get this plated. Hubby and I are starving. We're gonna sit down and enjoy this delicious dinner. Let's get it plated up. Cut us a piece of our delicious looking meatloaf. You can see how tender this is, friends, and that is why I said you don't want to overwork this. You want to be very gentle with it, gentle hands. There's our meatloaf. Excited to eat this. We've got some of our creamy. These are a very rustic mashed potato. As you can see, there's still some chunks in there. That's totally fine. I was not going for a completely smooth mashed potato today. I wanted something very rustic, very home style. We've just got some canned green beans that I put a little bit of butter and some Badilla Complete in there just to season them up a little bit, add a little extra flavor. But I'm excited to eat this. I love a good meatloaf. I've actually been craving meatloaf for a couple of weeks now. So when I found this one, I was excited. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do for Sunday dinner, or linner as we call it, because it's our basically lunch and dinner both combined. But friends, our Christmas story meatloaf, home-style mashed potatoes, some green beans. That's gonna be our lunch dinner today for after church. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me in my kitchen as we made a delicious Sunday dinner. Super excited to go eat this. It smells amazing. So if you want to, I'll leave this recipe in the description box for you. Go make this meatloaf for your family. They will love it if you guys love meatloaf. If you have not yet, please, friends, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you a part of our YouTube channel family. If you have not hit that notification bell, hit that also, so you're notified every single time we upload a new video. And friends, it means so much to me that you take time out of your day to come and see what we're doing in our kitchen, to come cook with us, come hang out, spend time with us. We just appreciate all the love and support that you guys have given us over this last year. We are close to our 1,000 subscribers goal, so please continue to share my channel with your friends and family. Get this channel out there. Tell people what we're cooking. We're cooking some amazing stuff, and we have some super fun things coming into the new year. You don't want to miss those things, so make sure that you are subscribed. And friends, as I said before, when we hit that 1,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away a beautiful set of my favorite cookware that I got just a couple months ago. I love it. We're going to give away an 11-piece set to one lucky winner once we hit that 1,000 subscribers. So please continue to help me reach that goal. We're going to go enjoy this delicious meal. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And friends, as always, we love you and God bless.